Welcome to Food Safety 5, twice monthly reports from the Food Safety Magazine editorial desk to keep you abreast of top news stories and current events impacting the food safety sector. This episode examines new scientific evidence related to food additives in ultra-processed foods that suggest potential public health risks. First, a new study from researchers at Washington University in St. Louis suggests that sorbitol may contribute to metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, or MASLD, formerly known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, under certain conditions. Sorbitol is a sugar alcohol that is widely used as a low-calorie sweetener in gums, candies, protein bars, and other reduced sugar foods. It occurs naturally in some fruits and vegetables. Using zebrafish models, the researchers found that gut bacteria normally break down sorbitol before it reaches the liver. However, when gut microbiota were depleted, sorbitol accumulated and was transported to the liver, where it was converted into fructose 1-phosphate. That process increased sugar metabolism activity and led to fat accumulation in the liver, a marker of fatty liver disease. The researchers also found that high concentrations of sorbitol directly induced liver fat accumulation, while reintroducing sorbitol-degrading bacteria reduced those effects. According to the researchers, sorbitol is essentially one transformation away from fructose, a sugar already known to contribute to metabolic disease and liver dysfunction. The findings suggest that the gut microbiome may play an important protective role, but that excessive sorbitol intake could potentially overwhelm that defense system. Next, a series of large-scale studies conducted by French researchers is raising new questions about the health impacts of both artificial and naturally derived food additives. The studies analyzed 15 years of data from a national cohort of more than 100,000 participants who reported their dietary intake, health habits, medical history, socio-demographic data, and other factors. Researchers examined the relationship between participants' intake of food colorants and preservatives and the incidence of conditions like cancer, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease. Among participants with the highest food dye consumption, overall exposure was associated with a 38% increase in the risk of type 2 diabetes. Notably, several colorants that have been naturally derived were among those associated with elevated risk. Beta-carotene, found in carrots and other plant sources, was associated with a 44% increase in diabetes risk and a 16% increase in overall cancer risk. Curcumin, derived from turmeric, was associated with a 49% increase in diabetes risk. Anthocyanins, which can also be plant-derived, were associated with a 40% increase in diabetes risk. The researchers explained that substances can behave differently when isolated and added to processed foods than when consumed within their original food matrices. The researchers also found associations between several preservative additives and increased risks of hypertension and cardiovascular disease. For example, potassium sorbate and citric acid were associated with 39 and 25% higher incidence of hypertension, respectively. Ascorbic acid was associated with a 15% higher incidence of cardiovascular disease. The researchers called for a reevaluation of the risks and benefits of food additives and said the findings support recommendations to favor unprocessed and minimally processed foods. Finally, a hallmark collection published in the American Journal of Public Health presents one of the most comprehensive examinations yet of ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, as a public health issue. The collection includes editorials, analyses, and new research linking UPF consumption to obesity, diabetes, cancer, dementia, cardiovascular disease, and premature death. Several studies found that higher UPF consumption was associated with increased body mass index, elevated blood sugar, higher blood pressure, and poorer cardiometabolic health outcomes. The collection also includes new research examining the addictive potential of UPFs. Researchers found that many UPFs combine refined carbohydrates, fats, and high energy density in ways rarely found in minimally processed foods. According to the authors, these combinations may strongly engage the brain's reward systems and contribute to addictive patterns of eating. Another major focus of the collection is the historical role of tobacco companies in shaping the modern food industry. Researchers analyzed internal company documents showing how Philip Morris, the company that owns Marlboro, leveraged technologies, product development strategies, and marketing approaches across its cigarette and food businesses after acquiring General Foods and Kraft. The researchers argue that many of the same research and development and marketing strategies used by tobacco companies have also shaped and continue to shape today's food environment. New polling included in the collection found that approximately 70% of Americans believe UPFs are addictive, while majorities support warning labels, restrictions on advertising to children, and other policy interventions. Across the collection, researchers argued that addressing harms associated with UPFs will require structural reforms, stronger oversight, improved food environments, and greater accountability rather than relying solely on individual behavior change. For more information on any of the stories mentioned in this video, be sure to check out the Food Safety Magazine coverage linked in the description. Check back twice monthly on Tuesdays for the latest Food Safety 5 episodes, available at food-safety.com or on our YouTube channel.